Methylation issues are something that would fall under usually epigenetics more than genetics. Most people still approach methylation as if it were just genetics. And so they just, get their 23andMe, look at MTHFR, and then from there decide on whether they need to take methylation support. And that is just, again, such a small view of the bigger system that happens. So briefly, methylation is when your DNA has these carbon groups that are placed on it that dictate how your DNA is read. So even though you have all the DNA and it codes for all these proteins, those proteins may not actually be made because they're silenced. We call this epigenetics. And there's this cycle that your body has, every cell has this methylation cycle that determines the amount of silencing or expression that is happening on your DNA level. And as it relates to trauma specifically, the methylation patterns influence the brain chemicals, especially the serotonin, the dopamine, and the adrenaline or the norepinephrine. And so what happens is that most people now, we've had this huge social shift, which knowing you're going to geek out about. You love this nerdy stuff. Over the last few decades, we've seen this huge shift socially to undermethylation. And there are specific traits of people who are undermethylators, but they are ones who experience the world as more stressful. They're more competitive. They're driven. And they have this tendency then to have lower serotonin levels and lower dopamine levels. So the lower dopamine levels make them seek out things that are even more exciting, right? They need
more projects, more stuff.
Yes, exactly. And then they've got the low serotonin, so they also can struggle with a high amount of anxiety and depression, even though undermethylators usually have a pretty calm exterior. They have a high level of inner just restlessness and anxiety. And what happens is that people will go and get their MTHFR gene tested, and they'll see, oh, I have what's called a SNP, a single nucleotide polymorphism in that gene. That must mean that I have methylation issues. And the answer has been, start taking methylfolate. What happens with that, though, is that the folate, even the methylfolate, decreases even more the activity of serotonin and dopamine. And so for a person who is an undermethylator, methylfolate, any folate actually makes their situation worse after a few weeks of taking that, because it's further decreasing the activity of these brain chemicals that they're already low in. And so, you see these people who are otherwise high functioning, right? Because they're pretty driven people. They're really struggling with some of the mood stuff and, even some of the sensitivities that their nervous system has. And so they're people who tend to read a lot. They're people who tend to, be more advanced and ooh, this methylation thing, and let me get my test. And oh my goodness, you're right, I've got this SNP. Let me get on this. And they think that, they're doing what's best, and they're actually just kind of still making their system worse and working against them because of the changes. So methylation would be a big thing, just because there's still such a misunderstanding, especially in psychiatry world, on how to see methylation and the issues that happen with the most common form of treatment for those SNPs.
Hey everyone, Irene Lyon here. Thank you for watching this short video. If you want to watch the full-length video, just click somewhere near here and be sure to subscribe to this channel, as well as my full-length channel, Irene Lyon. Keep learning, keep healing. We'll see you next time.